Next guest was born in North Jersey, raised in Florida, starred at Boston College. Got all that right, yeah?
Yeah,
okay. Played professionally in Sweden, Scotland, France, made 66 appearances with the U.S. men's national team, and is the captain of your Philadelphia Union. Please welcome to a Gallen of Questions podcast, Alejandro Bedoya. What's up, my friend? How are you?
What's happening, man? Good to see you.
Thanks for
nice
being
little
here.
spot you got here.
You like this?
Yeah, I love
it.
it.
Kind of like threw it together. You know, I got all my old stuff here from high school. It's all. You can see how dusty it is. Like been in a box for the last 20 years. Yeah, man. Thank you.
Yeah. I'm waiting for that day for me to be able to go through all the boxes that I got stuff in and just have my little man cave or something.
You have something like that now?
I know. I did. You know, I thought it was a good thing about moving back to the Northeast, you know, is that obviously living in Florida, we don't got basements.
Right.
So the basements are always like, you know, I always envisioned, you know, basement is the man cave.
Yep,
but I really haven't. I thought I would be spending a lot more time down there, but I don't actually, because the kids, I just,
right. They just
the
take
kitchen
over
floor, living
man.
room, that's all. They take over everything.
They're so rude. How has, I know it's been brief so far, but how has your off season been? You staying busy, I'm sure?
Yeah, I'm staying busy. I mean, obviously, I'm still recovering from the injury that I got towards the end of the season, unfortunately. So I'd say I'm like 90% healed out there. So that's progressing. And then just off the field, you know, I've just been able to obviously spend more time with the family, with the kids. I love, you know, drop off, pick up. Doing all that, and then just being able to focus a little bit more on like the different business ventures I'm involved with,
sure.
and doing different things around that. So it's been good off season, busy, man. Just staying busy, active.
How hard is that for you to do, like the pick up the kids and all that stuff during this? Are you able to do that at all during the season?
I'm able to do definitely pick up.
Okay.
Sometimes drop-offs, you know, it gets a little bit, depending on how early I get into training and this and that. But that's the one thing I always try to focus on. Because, you know, we do travel a lot and can be busy. But the one thing I always try to do is always at least do drop-off, pick-up. I enjoy doing that, you know, hearing their stories,
sure.
you know, before school, if they're tired, and then after school, hearing what happened throughout their day. That's the one time that car ride home is the one time I can get them. Because once they get home, they want to drop everything. They do this on their screen time, or they want to get on their bikes, or, you know, play outside. So
how old?
7 and 5.
Okay, that's a cool age though.
That's a great age. I really like it. You start seeing their personalities come through, and they start getting a little bit more edgier. So yeah, it's edgier. Cool. And now they're active in sports too at this age now too. So yeah,
soccer,
it's cool. Soccer, and my girl with the dancing, and she loves the gymnastics. So
they're keeping you busy. Business ventures, anything cool that you want to get out there that's like
anything cool? I mean, I guess the boring typical, you know, real estate stuff, but then
right.
also you know, I'm involved with the VC firm here based in Philly, outside of Philly, just outside 76 Capital. So working with them a little bit more.
Is that the one Ryan Howard was involved?
Yeah, he was involved with that as well. Yeah, him and Brian Westbrook, who obviously Philly sports fans would definitely know of. So just doing that, working with them a little bit more. You know, doing some more due diligence on their companies and the portfolio companies, and on the side, obviously, I've always been doing some angel investments here and there. But then the one I'm really excited about that sports fans I don't know if they really know about this sport here in Philly, but it's called Paddle, Padel.
Yeah.
So Paddle House together, HAUS. We opened up our first location in Brooklyn and Williamsburg in New York. And I actually brought Jacob Glessness, my teammate, on board, so Union fans would know him. And yeah, it's just a growing sport, an emerging sport.
Is that like pickleball?
It's a little bit like that. You know, that's like I would say a distant cousin of it. But similar, a racket sport. It's an iteration of, you know, like tennis and squash and racquetball, all that. But, you know, you play, it's an enclosed glass court, but you do have a net in between. And it's meant to be played in doubles, and it's really fun, social, similar kind of things that pickleball that Americans would know more. But paddle is more often played in. It's very popular in Europe and South America, and obviously grown all over the world.
And you're like, don't call us pickleball, man. We're not.
No, definitely not. It's completely different. You know, the way the rackets are, the sound of the ball, the ball, the material, everything is. I enjoy it. I love to play it as well. It keeps me active.
There you go.
And it's good.
That's what it's all about, man. Keeping the weight off during the off season and then getting right back into it.
Yeah,
I love it,
definitely.
I love it. 2022 season was an amazing one for the Philadelphia Union. Obviously, didn't end the way you guys wanted it to. You were so close. But talk about the season as a whole and where you guys started, because obviously the year before, Eastern Conference Finals, that ends in heartbreak fashion. You get a step further, more heartbreak. Is it difficult for you to still talk about it and like think about it?
Yeah, thanks for making me relive all that.
Sorry, man.
Look, for me as a individual, I mean, it's hurt a lot just because, like you said, last year, COVID took me and 10 others out, and we missed that opportunity there. And then this year, I got injured, just an unfortunate injury, terrible timing, and wasn't able to partake in the final. So, just watching from the sidelines just sucks even more, You're
like, I'm never coming back on this podcast again.
I'm like, what the heck, man? But no, as a team, like, look, it took me, 7-10 days to like really digest everything and let it sit. But in hindsight and with perspective, I think both seasons were phenomenal, especially this one. Like this season was still a great one. We didn't, we had one hand on the damn trophy. We just came up short. But all things considered, like we broke records left and right this season.
Sure.
We were able to, even with the roster that we have, just I think outperform, expectations again, so.
What does that speak to? Is that just like, because when you first got here in 2016 to where the franchise is now, it's completely different.
It is. I mean, we've made leaps beyond what I even thought when I first came here. I arrived in August of 2016. And no disrespect to any of the players, but just the type of players that we've been able to like recruit and get into the club. The standard has risen a lot, all across the board, even, just not on the field, but I would say like with the front office and the staff that we've been able to get in. And just our performance. I mean, look, every year it seems like we're breaking new records. So that's exciting, and we didn't lose one game this whole season at home.
Right.
We've made this place like a fortress, and I think that speaks to like the fan base too, playing a role in it, right?
Sure.
The atmospheres have been incredible. I mean, the playoff atmospheres this season was awesome, and just like the growth, not just of the sport in general, but just our fan base too. Welcoming new fans. Obviously winning helps. Everybody loves winning. They'll get behind a winning team, but that's fine. Hop on a bandwagon. I think I saw like just speaking of picking up drop off at school. With the kids. I mean, I can't tell you how many parents and stuff would come up and say like, "Oh, I hadn't watched a game, and it's been awesome following you guys." Or I finally got to a soccer game, watched the Union. And, wow, it's an amazing atmosphere. It's like completely different than like a Sixers or like an Eagles game. And that's awesome. I think it's great to see that across the city, and of course, like just Philly sports scene is just incredible, and I think Philly sports fans were a little bit spoiled.
It was crazy
2 months ago or whatever, when every team seemed to be like at the top, and living in the city. I mean, the energy was palpable throughout. Like seeing jerseys everywhere and people talking about,
You've seen that more and more in the city now. Wearing, rocking the.
It was awesome. Yeah, I mean, there was like a good 10-day, 2-week period where like. All you saw was people wearing jerseys left and right everywhere you walked, in bars, cafes, and just sparking up conversation. Love it. Yeah, it was amazing.
And I think you guys made a fan in my dad, who not a soccer fan his entire life, never followed the sport. Took him to a game this year, absolutely loved it. Took him, my nephew, my brother-in-law, and I think it just changed his perspective on soccer as like, the gruff old guy who like, I don't like soccer, I'm a football guy. But he came around, and I think you guys were able to change a lot of minds and bring in a lot of new fans to the fan base, which is so important.
Right. Yeah, definitely. No, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we were all devastated by the loss in the final, obviously, being competitors that we are.
Sure.
And we felt we merited it the way they played. I think the team gave a great effort that final game. But like I said, when I look back on it and things like that, we can still be satisfied with the season we had.
Sure.
So, but the goal next season, as always, get back to the final and get that trophy. That's the only one that's missing.
How?
Did you know that more than 90% of poisonings happen at home? Look closely, and you will find poison risks hidden in plain sight inside every house. But there are actions you can take to keep your family safe. Identifying and eliminating poison risks can protect your family from accidental poisonings. Visit the Poison Help website for tips on preventing poisonings in your home, or call 1-800-222-1222 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
Innovation transforms the world, turning the status quo upside down. Innovation created a healthcare system that not only improves the lives of veterans, it transforms the lives of healthcare professionals with unique opportunities to work with industry thought leaders while serving our nation's heroes. The Department of Veterans Affairs, where innovation ensures those who served our nation are served by the very best. See how a career at VA can transform your future.
Much of the turnaround since you started here is owed to what Jim Curtin has brought to the table? Because it's always like, okay, you know, you are where you are, the head coach is the head coach, but like digging a little bit deeper, I've always found his story kind of cool because he just came up through the ranks to where he is right now. You don't really often see a story like that.
Yeah, absolutely. No, Jim's a great guy. I mean, we all know him as a person. He's an unbelievable person, human. And he's been just a great coach since I came here. You know, I think obviously he's embraced me, and every player does. He's got a great relationship with all the players, and I think that's key. You know, you can talk about the X's and O's as a coach, as a manager, you know, tactics or this and that. But at the end of the day, like a coach's biggest role is just being that man manager. You know, being able to deal with all the different personalities and egos and be relatable to the players and approach them. And we have so many different nationalities represented on our team, you know, and guys who come from different backgrounds. And but I think what's unique with him, not unique, but like he's a local guy. Like, you know, he's pretty much Philly through and through. And I think that's helped him, you know, be able to connect with guys, you know, and deal with the different personalities and things like that. So obviously credit to him for becoming the man and the manager that he's become, because obviously he had to climb through the ranks, like you said. But a big credit to, like, I guess the owners too, the ownership and the club for sticking by him when maybe things weren't going as well as they intended to or thought they would. I mean, obviously it's very clear that they've had a vision and they've stuck to that and they believed in him, and you know he made them believe in him as well. So it's great. Yeah, I love it. And he's another guy that lives in the city too. I'll run into him all, you know, randomly maybe when I'm picking up the kids, and around the area, and it's awesome just to. If he's walking his dog or whatever with the kids at school, I'm at a cafe and I see him and I just go get him and we just talk. So no, I mean, he's meant a lot for the club, and he's a big reason why we are where we are now.
And it's just so rare that, like, I mean, for those that don't watch soccer, guys last as a coach 18 months, you know, 24 months, 3 years tops. But Jim has just carved out this spot here in the city where it feels like he could have this gig as long as he wants it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think also something I didn't mention before is, like, when climbing the ranks, like, I think the fact that he did have to climb the ranks. So he's been through the academy system. He started, I think, with the 12s, you know, coaching kids at 12 years old. So he knows every aspect of it. And even the guys that are now developing, the young guys signing to the first team, I mean, he's actually coached them when they were 12 years old, 13 years old. So he's even built these relationships with those guys, those players, their families. So, I mean, yeah, he's the one guy who really knows the club inside and out. And I think he's done a great job.
So for you, you're coming back 2023 season, 1-year contract. Are you just taking it year by year? How do you approach things right now?
Yeah, no, look, I mean, if it was up to me, I'd sign a 3 or 4 year deal and stay in Philly. But, you know,
you heard that here?
Yeah, right. That's the business of sports, right? So I think at my age, you know, I guess it's come down, you know, year by year thing. But I've been able to prove myself on the field, and that's the most important thing. You know, I still got gas in the tank. I'm still, for the most part, obviously, the timing of my injury wasn't very good, but play 90 minutes pretty much every game. I feel great mentally, physically. I feel good. And, you know, maybe it's a good thing that it's a developmental team, you know, that we have so many young kids that keep me fresh, man. They keep me lively, you know. I have to chase after them. And they put me in, you know, in not difficult spots, but good spots. You know, I think I'm the type of guy that's not just going to let a young kid come in and take my spot. Like, they better earn it, you know? Like, hey, I'm trying to keep playing for as long as I can. I enjoy it. You know, I love being part of this team. I think we've built a great, you know, we talk a lot about locker room and culture and things like that, but I think the vibes in there are great. I think the diversity of players and personalities that we have helps. It's a fun locker room. And, I just one more year at least for now. We'll see how next year goes. But after the season that we had and I had this year, I mean, I envision myself playing for at least a few more years. Yeah, like I think I still got a lot left.
Does the grind, though, does it get harder every year?
The grind, it gets a little bit harder, yeah. I think, you know, what also gives me energy is my kids, because I see through my kids that they now understand everything a little bit more. They enjoy coming to the games. They get into it. Obviously, it was devastating for them. Like, there was the first time I saw my son actually get so like emotional after a game. You know, they were out in LA, and just my son was just unconsolable for, like, you know, just crying so much, and that really hit me hard. But they're the ones that drive me actually now to, like, because I always, as a athlete, I think many athletes go through this, like, they always hope to play. To be a father during their playing days, because it's cool to, you know, see your kids come on the, you know, I guess the social team does a good job of sharing these videos of our kids on there, you know, and whether it's on a post press conference or just on the field having fun. Like, I enjoy those moments, and like, I look forward to, like, post game after a nice win or something, just having them come on the field and enjoy themselves. So yeah, no, that drives me. And like I said, I mean, I have to prove myself on the field, and as long as I'm still doing that, I'm doing, you know, I deserve to keep playing, and you know, I'm not going to let anybody just take my spot.
These young kids, they're not coming in here and taking this guy's spot.
No chance.
So this iteration of the team will look mostly the same. A lot of the same faces are coming back. One in particular that is not, Paxton Aronson, who's following in the footsteps of his brother, headed to Europe. How cool is it for you to see the evolution of the Aronson family, what they've been able to do? You know, first Brendan, who's now in the Premier League, who just started with the U.S. national team, and Paxton, who looks like he could be following his footsteps. I mean, you're kind of like the big bro for a lot of these guys.
Yeah, no, it's great, I think.
Sorry to age you there.
No, yeah, right. I'm the grandpa of the team, you know. But I think, yeah, we'll be able to keep the core of the team, I think, next year intact. So that's good. But just seeing those guys, I mean, the Aronson family they're great. They're awesome. You know, since I came here, just seeing the development of Brendan and their attitudes. You know, obviously they have a great family. I love their parents, and just seeing how hard they've all worked, like, in this for this goal, you know, to happen. Sacrifices from his parents and his father, and the way they were raised and played so much together. So just for Brendan to take that next step, it was awesome. Just, I mean, when I came, we had another guy, Harris Medunjanin, and he really took him under his wing, and we, you know, with our experience, mine and his, and playing in Europe, and you know, with the national team and all that stuff. Brendan was a guy that, like, was one of the few young guys, at least, that would always stay after training to work on the way he turns, you know, when he receives the ball, to work on his shooting, his finishing, to work on his, like, passing distribution, all that stuff. And myself and Harris would be there, and he would always be asking questions, and he'd always be wanting to, so he's a super, he's got a good head on his shoulder, same with Paxton. always guys that you know, really, you know, have a vision and
Sure.
they wanted to accomplish this dream and they went for it, and they keep, you know, learning, and no egos at all, you know. They're
like
just good, nice guys and great soccer players.
Family's
just
great,
keep
like you
getting
said.
better and better. Yeah.
Is sky the limit for both of them?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we saw with Brennan just this quick. I mean, how quickly he was able to adapt to his first team and overseas,
Sure.
do well, and then right away just take the jump to the best league in the world, and now playing. You know,
Feels like it
watching
happened
him on
overnight.
Saturdays
It's
and Sundays. It really did. It felt like that. Yeah, just and then with the national team now already in the World Cup. I mean, the last 2-3 years. I mean, how quickly everything happened
Sure.
for him.
For you,
Brandon met a girl on a dating app. He finally found the courage to ask her out. No answer. He started to panic. Was he being...
Hey, sorry I didn't respond. I was driving.
She must be a keeper.
Vision loss is not something that you feel until it happens.
Most people lose their vision from diseases like macular degeneration and glaucoma, not at birth.
3 million Americans have glaucoma, and half don't even know it.
11 million people in the United States have macular degeneration.
So many eye disorders can be treated if caught early.
Make a plan today to get your eyes checked.
Visit brightfocus.org to learn more.
Mr. Rogers said, look for the helpers. You can always find people who are helping. Thank you to all the first responders who put their lives in danger to help us when my brothers and sisters need them. We look out for the helpers because they look out for us. Thank you, first responders! Thank you, first responders! Love you! Mwah.
Be safe, look after yourself, and look after one another.
you know, you obviously had the experience with the U.S. team. What was that like for you, and what was it like watching from afar what they were able to accomplish in this cycle here?
Yeah, look, I think obviously playing in the World Cup is like the pinnacle of soccer players' career. That's like the ultimate dream, is to represent your country on the international stage. But the World Cup is like something, there's no other event like it, right? So just watching the U.S. team this World Cup was, I thought they did some good stuff. You know, I like to see that they were on the front foot for the most part, right. You know, in terms of trying to possess, trying to play. Obviously, that final ball is always missing. You know, if I'm going to be critical, I was critical. I think it's just about the number 9, right, position. Right. We don't have that one striker that can really, you know, hold up 2 defenders and occupy them, 2 center backs, and you know, give our midfielders more space or be able to combine with them, you know, that holds up the ball, but that can also turn and you know, run to the first post and get into spots where, like, because of his instincts, can get into good goal scoring opportunities. Sure. and or maybe even create something out of nothing himself. We don't have that yet. We haven't had that for a while.
Right.
And then, of course, I went on Twitter after the game against Netherlands just about their set pieces. You know, I know how hard we work on it here. Sure. With the Philadelphia Union. You know, I think we're 1 or number 2 in the league. Absolutely. In terms of set pieces, off corner kicks, off throw-ins, you know, things like that. It's the one chance you get, like, where you can actually maybe have something lined up and really focus on making sure the guys are making the runs where they're supposed to, and you deliver the ball in the area where it's supposed to.
Sure.
I didn't see much of that, you know, and that was disappointing because I think in the past, you know, we really did well on set pieces and being able to get a goal off a corner kick or something. And, you know, they're crucial.
Sure.
And I don't know exactly what the stats are, but, you know, looking at the games from afar, I know we keep there's a lot of data analytics that we use, but like first contact, you know, in terms of getting a flick on in the first post, it changes the trajectory of the ball, or at least playing short corners where you change the angle of the delivery and guys make different runs. I mean, that, you know, I'm getting really like into it.
No, it's great.
But with the U.S. team, that's the one thing that I always felt that was, you know, left a lot to be desired there.
With finding a striker, is it why can't we find one? Is it grooming someone from a younger age? How does that change? Is it coaching? Like, where does it come down to?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question because I really don't have the answer to it. I mean, it's a combination of everything. And it kind of surprises me because I'd feel like there's got to be someone out there because, like, you want to be the hero. There's everybody who plays wants to score goals for the most part, right? You think like that. Like as a young kid, you love scoring goals and things like that. So, why haven't we been able to develop a quality striker? You know, we've got the midfielders. You know, our back line was steady. We've always been strong in the back and goalies. You know, developing goalkeepers. But a reliable top striker. I mean, I don't know. We got to find him somewhere.
I guess. If I needed to do it. But that did seem like that and the set pieces were the two things that stood out to me as well. It just, you know, but overall, you get to the knockout stage. It's hard to be upset about the progression and the growth of the team. Obviously, you want them to go a little bit further, but they're so young and they have such young talent that I think we're hoping that they can grow into something. But we see all these other countries, and you know this having been through it. Does it come down to maybe in other countries the better or the best athletes tend to play soccer first, whereas here maybe the other, you know, we've got guys here that go, not anymore, but would jump from high school to the NBA or play 1 year in college and jump to the NBA, or football might be a little bit more popular here. Is that just kind of what it comes down to with the talent pool?
I'm not so sure exactly. No, I would say that, I would say most athletes here in the States too, maybe they start with soccer.
Right, yeah.
But if at a certain age, you know, at least in the past, you know, soccer with the pay-to-play system and things like that, or even with hockey, I mean, sometimes that's hampered the typical athlete to continue playing soccer because in the other sports, especially for inner city kids, and, you know, I'm me as a Latino or in the black community, you know, it's tough to get involved in a club or, you know, an academy because it is very cost prohibitive. It's expensive. But I think that's changing. The landscape is changing, you know, with the growth of the league, MLS, and they've done a great job developing, you know, their academy system, and now with the MLS Next Pro that they are going on, MLS Next. So, you know, and we've seen here with the union, the amount of investment that they poured into the academy and the YSC and everything that they've got going on there, that's providing opportunities for, you know, if you're young and talented, that, you know, there will be scholarship, you know, and be able to be part of the union process. So I think overall, you know, in these other countries, I mean, soccer is the end-all, be-all. You know, it's number one. They're not even thinking really about any other sport, you know. Here you have so many other opportunities with the other sports and for many of the other big sports, you know, the main four, whatever you want to call it. I mean, there's so much money in them, right?
No
so
doubt.
There's still a lot to catch up on there in terms of investment and the ability to I guess sell that dream that, you know, you make it out of whatever neighborhood you are, community you grew up in, that, you know, it's really, really life-changing. And that those dreams get shifted, I guess, when you turn 10, 11, 12 years old, when that person is a little bit more developed, and then they see maybe opportunity else in another sport other than soccer. But that's changing now, man. And we've had such a talented group now. I mean, never in our history of U.S. soccer have we had guys this young and so many of them playing at top clubs, the best clubs in the world.
Sure. Do you want to get involved in coaching and stuff after the playing? Have you thought of that far ahead? Or are you still kind of in the mode of playing career?
Yeah, no, I'm still in a definitely playing career mode, but of course I've given it a thought. I just don't know if I could be a coach
Why?
I don't know if I have the patience. I know how much, I see Jim work, and, how much you got to deal with.
That's number one, right, is patience.
With all the personalities and egos and, some of this training sessions and stuff like that. So,
taste.
yeah, I definitely, I feel more comfortable, at least now, with the different, knowledge that I've been able to get and expanding my business acumen and stuff, that I feel like I'm better suited for, maybe behind the scenes stuff, like front office or.
Fair enough. Building the team rather than coaching it with more your speed.
More technical director or GM or whatever, some front office position, but I feel more suited for that you're not always in there in the midst of everything,
You're having to scream at guys on a daily basis. Yeah, I'm with you. All right, I don't want to keep you too long, because we got to go here. But last one, Gallen of questions. We'll pull some out here and we'll see what we get.
Gallen of
you want to
questions.
start?
I have no idea what it could be in here.
It could be anything. Could be anything. Give it a shot here. All right, first one. Try to knock out a few.
Have you seen Ted Lasso? That was the first one I got. I actually have not. I haven't seen the whole series, but I've watched definitely the first season.
What'd you think of it so far?
Yeah, it's funny. I thought it was a good series. I thought it was,
do you think
from what I've watched,
Do you think that they kind of? I mean, obviously it's a little bit goofy that Jason Sudeikis kind of plays a goofball, but
right.
They kind of stayed true to things in a sense, right?
Yeah, and like for me, the way I see things like this is also like, it was funny. I was mentioning it earlier for the USA England game. I had a watch party on Newtown Square.
Yeah.
With a buddy of mine. And he had a bunch of other people over there, and I would say 70% of them were obviously Americans, but not soccer fans.
Right.
So the way I look at stuff like this is like, I welcome all new fans into the sport, into cheering for the Philadelphia Union, whatever it may be. You just got to embrace it, and I love the comedic part of this. Me and my wife, we did have to share many laughs.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
And it is a pretty good show. And so, no, back to this, it's like just trying to get more people into the sport. It's
more eyes.
Yeah.
Anything helps. All right, would you rather be quarterback for the Eagles, or throw 100 miles per hour for the Phillies, or be the starting point guard for the Sixers?
Man, that's a good question. I mean, if it was financial, I see all these new free agent baseball contracts they just signed. Trey Turner just came here, Bryce Harper.
Yeah,
for the Phillies. They get those long years and guaranteed money and $300 million. That's crazy money. But no, that's a tough question. I grew up I was a really big. I love the NBA basketball fan. And I think
they still get paid pretty well.
They get paid pretty handsomely too, as well. And being a point guard, it was awesome. I grew up ruined for point. My favorite players were Jason Kidd and Steve Nash. And I know Steve Nash,
my favorite player of all
is
time.
Obviously a soccer guy, but I feel like my game translates to him. I just run around, run out the baseline, just look for a pass and feed it, and that's it.
All right, we'll go with that. Starting point guard for the Sixers.
Sixers for sure.
All right, next one. Person most responsible for you.
Who can forget about AI?
Yeah, AI too. Person most responsible for you becoming a professional footballer.
Person most responsible, I would just say my father.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the guy that would take me out of training. Growing up in Florida, to avoid the heat or humidity, we'd get up at 5 in the morning, run the track, work on my endurance, stamina, and then he'd always be open to going to the fields, kicking.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, next one. You a beer guy, a wine guy, or a seltzer guy?
Definitely a wine guy.
Wine guy?
Yeah. I don't know if I want to say how often I have a glass of red wine.
Oh, how often?
But definitely after game days.
Every night.
Yeah, here and there. But we enjoy definitely drinking red wine after putting the kids to sleep and just relaxing.
Do you have a type of red that you're a fan of? Because I'm a red guy.
Yeah, I'm definitely a red guy. No, all red. I'm a Pinot
fan.
Pinot guy.
Noir is my
I like
Some people like a little bolder, but I'm not that bad.
No, I like a good Chianti.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. What's
even though I lived in France for 4 years, but yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I'm sure you had some.
There's good Bordeaux.
Yeah. What's one thing you've always wanted to do that you haven't because soccer got in the way?
One thing I wanted to do, but I haven't because soccer got in the way. Oof, that's a tough one. I think soccer has allowed me to do so much and so many things.
Can pass if you.
Well, actually, now going to Norway. I leave this weekend with my wife's from Norway.
Yeah.
So I would say skiing probably.
Okay.
Because I never wanted to take the risk of injury skiing.
I love skiing.
So one day, when I retire, I'll definitely.
Let's do it. We'll go up to Blue Mountain or something. Most nervous you've ever been on the pitch?
Most nervous I've ever been on the pitch.
Do you remember a time?
Wow, yeah. I'd probably say the first major U.S. game that I played, which was against Netherlands, actually. It was
really?
At Amsterdam Arena.
Oh, wow.
So I had played one game with the U.S., which was a January camp, which is kind of like MLS players only camp. And then I got called up to play with like the A team, right? The first team.
Yeah.
And that was my first time playing and seeing and meeting guys like Landon Donovan, Clint Dempsey, Tim Howard, all the big boys that I've been watching on TV, that have been, kind of role models and things like that. And so that was the first experience against Netherlands. It's a great team. I'm playing against Wesley Sneijder, all these other guys, and also getting to meet these guys. And I'm like trying to make an impression, and I got all the emotions and all the feelings. Wow. Yeah,
that's pretty cool. That's a good answer. All right, 2 more. We'll get you out of here. How many career goals have you scored professionally? Do you know that number?
Oh, that I have no idea. I mean, I don't score often, but I would say in total. Do you know that number? Do you have that?
I have it right here.
You have it right there. How many career goals have I scored?
I
would say, I don't even know how many years have I played with Dean. So I would say 50?
48.
48.
48.
Oh,
close. You're right there.
Man.
All right, last one.
So I got to break that milestone this season.
There you go. 50's coming.
Mm-hmm.
Last one. You and your wife are binge watching what show right now? Anything?
Binge watching.
Do you binge watch? Or you?
No, I'm not a big binge watcher. She is. She's great.
Really?
She's watched everything. I'm not. I can't. I get into it, and after the third, fourth, I'm like, I just tune out and on to the next one. No, yeah, I can't even think of anything right now. We recently watched together House of Dragons. That was cool.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's fair.
That's the last one.
Any Christmas film, like Christmas movies with the kids? Are they into that stuff?
Yeah, a lot of the Christmas movies. All the stuff that's on Netflix and all the new stuff that comes up. Yeah, there's always something new.
Alejandro Bedoya, thank you so much. Appreciate the time. Good luck with everything, and enjoy the vacation because it's quick this year, man. You're coming back in end of January?
Yeah, no, not even 3rd of January. Back and preseason starts. Yeah, that first week.
It's unreal, man.
Of January.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Thanks for having me, man. Appreciate it. Thank you.